If you're curious about Accutane, or you've taken it yourself, this video should be helpful. Hi, I'm Dan, and I have taken Accutane, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of backstory on that whole thing, but this video is really about facial cleansers because for me personally, it's been quite a journey finding one that works for me. I think I had pretty typical skin for a teenager. It got worse as I approached 15, 16, 17, and particularly my face. But by the time I hit my 20s, a lot of that had calmed down. It's just that it never really fully went away. Even though my face generally got better, I still just constantly would have acne, usually on my back, but it could kind of just show up wherever. It was really hard on my self-esteem. Like a lot of times I felt like people would look at my face and think I was normal, but then, like if it was a dating romantic situation, maybe they, find it the scandalous truth that I'm, hideous underneath my clothes. I gave it a long time before I finally came to the conclusion that I was gonna take Accutane, because I know it's not a decision to be made lightly. It is a permanent change to the way your body functions, and that is a big deal. The hope was that, all my acne will go away and everything will be perfect, but in reality, it's kind of like you're trading one thing for another. So instead of the oily skin that I had before, it was more flaky skin. And keeping my face and body clean has really been a challenge since then. I've used a lot of cleansers, kind of like this, and they're just typical, scrub, exfoliate. In theory, you're removing dead skin, and you should be beautiful afterwards. It never really seemed to work for me. It was honestly confounding, and it was frustrating, but I just sort of dealt with it, as I was already in my 30s, so I wasn't as self-conscious as I was in my 20s, and I just was fine. And I kind of developed this ritual when I was cleaning where I would really just scratch my face. Like I would wet it, and then I would gently exfoliate by clawing my skin. And I mean, if I did it right, I wouldn't, scratch myself or anything, but it really removed the dead skin, and then I felt like it would carry me through 4 or 5 days, and then I might have to do it again or a small amount. But recently I found a product that seems to work better for me, and that was the impetus for making this video. But I figured I would take this opportunity, not just to talk about myself a little bit and the cleanser I started using, but I'm gonna do a little test for you. I'm gonna wash half of my face with the new and half of my face with the traditional, and we'll kind of see how it looks differently. I haven't done this before, so I don't know exactly how it's gonna go, but we're gonna give it a try. So just to make this visually clear and distinct, I'm gonna have my lab assistant draw a line on my face so that we can really differentiate between the two sides for each cleanser. Beautiful.
And the other side, nothing?
Yeah, we don't need to label both sides. Cool. I didn't actually look into how to pronounce the company name, but this is a, quote, refreshing and gentle cleansing oil that effectively dissolves makeup and impurities without leaving an oily residue. And when you're applying it, you don't actually use water initially, you just rub it on, and then you'll remove it with water. And then in this case, we've got our St. Ives Fresh Skin Apricot Scrub. Deeply exfoliates and removes impurities for glowing skin. So this one I will combine, I will get my skin a little bit wet first, and then I'll rub that in. So I'm just gonna get my skin a little wet, apply some, look at that. Ooh. So you can definitely feel the texture of a cleanser like this. It's in no way smooth. It's very granular, bumpy. Like it feels like it's exfoliating, if I'm being honest with you, but that has never really been the case. Like when I rinse it off, I don't think it's gonna be a particularly good job. Okay, so we're using the BOSCIA on this side. This is just very clear, oily, completely different from the St. Ives. So I don't know exactly how that looks because I don't have a mirror, but you can see on my fingers.
Are purple.
Yeah, well, they're purple from the marker, but it's kind of clumpy.
Yeah.
And that was not, that's not how the other side looks.
Yeah.
So I just finished rinsing my face, and honestly, I can't really tell much of a difference after rinsing it between the two sides. You saw as I was applying it, the skin, is behaving very differently with the oil-based cleanser versus the water-based cleanser. And in my experience, using a water-based cleanser like the St. Ives, over time, it's like I'll use it, a couple times a week for a month, and it'll get to the point where my skin is visibly flaky, and I really feel like I need to do a deep exfoliation, which this cleanser is just not letting me do. And I always had a hard time using like a scrubbing device. Like I've scratched my skin using something like that before. That's the situation I've been trying to avoid. And the oil-based cleanser works a lot better, I would say, at just continuously removing the skin and not allowing it to build up and get to that frustrating point. If you're considering taking Accutane, definitely think about it. I don't regret my decision, but you're kind of trading one set of problems for another. I went from kind of oily skin to flaky skin. Also, the 5 months that I was on Accutane were not particularly fun. My skin hurt. It hurt to shower and walk around, and there were some days that were just depressingly flaky. If you have any questions about Accutane or the products or anything, let me know. I'll put a link to this in the description if you want to check it out, and it'll be an affiliate link. So if you do decide to buy it, it'll help out a little bit at no additional cost to you. And if you have any recommendations for me as far as products or whatever else, feel free to leave a comment and I'll get back to you. My name's Dan, and hey, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.